Well, hey there. Welcome. Today is day 28 of my 90-day challenge. And I'm excited because today is a challenge day. So we just finished the fourth week, and today I'll be doing the challenge of this week. And basically, what the challenge is, especially today's sort of a unique challenge day because the audio today that I'm listening to is going to be listening to the skill builders of this week, which normally there's only 30 audios that I listen to. What the spectrums. Today we're combining both the cosmic and the earth energy channel audios into one playlist. So there's actually 60 different audios that I could potentially listen to today. I'm not going to be listening to all of them because that's a lot of hours. But basically, on a challenge day, we combine all of the skill builders together, and then they randomly select. So I don't know if it's going to be letting the earth energy flow that I'll be listening to at a specific color. Don't know what color. Or I could be listening to a cosmic energy flow, but I don't know what color. And so there's a lot more uncertainty in this challenge than the previous challenges because we're dealing with basically two different energy channels, which makes it sort of fun because, we only had a week to listen to the skill builders, and you had to pick between, am I going to listen to the earth energy channel audio or the cosmic energy channel audio. And to be honest, there wasn't enough time in 1 week to listen to all the colors because, again, that's a lot of colors. So today we're going to really stir the pot up because we don't know what color we're going to listen to. We don't know or what channel we're going to actually focus on. So it creates more uncertainty, which the goal is can I stay present? Can I focus on the channel that the audio is presenting? And really, can I explore my awareness of that channel while the audio is communicating? So remember, the challenge for all these audios is, listen to an audio, notice what you notice, and then repeat the process. And so today's challenge is all about listening to that challenge audio and seeing how long I can stay present, stay conscious, and also as well as just noticing when my attention drifts or what am I experiencing, because these channels are basically clearing out stuff. And as they clear stuff out, am I able to release and be more in the present? So, so I'm excited. So I'm going to head off to the meditation. I'm going to give you, this next segment, I'm going to give you two audios to listen to. One will be a color audio for earth energy. Another one may be a color audio for cosmic energy, but I'm not going to know what color it's going to give you. In fact, if the first audio, once it's completed, if it's giving you the same channel, let's say it says red at earth energy, and then the next color is going to be, let's say, blue at earth energy, I'm going to skip forward until we get a cosmic energy. So that way, at least on the sample, you can have a sample of both those audios at the same time, just so that way you can focus on both channels for this video. But for myself, I'm going to do probably at least an hour's worth of meditation. This is a challenges I usually don't recommend, especially at the very, very beginning stages. Really enjoy sitting and closing your eyes and doing this meditation for the challenge, because there's a lot of stuff going on. If you're in the car doing a moving meditation, you can do those, but at the same time, for me, I like the challenge because the goal is like, hey, I want to see how much this stirs up within me. And if I'm on walks or doing other activities, my attention is not going to be 100% on myself because I'm dealing with all the other stimuli. And so my recommendation for these challenges, because it's once a week we have a challenge, is to see if you can set a portion of time off, in your day to actually do the challenge itself and reap the rewards of just sitting and closing and doing the challenge, and seeing what you experience. So anyways, I will see you on this side. Enjoy the 2 audios, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Let's run some earth energy. I'd like you to put your attention on your feet. And now let's move your attention from your feet to the center of the planet. And at the center of the planet, I'd like you to allow some neutral imperial earth energy come from the center of the planet into your feet. And as you're watching that imperial earth energy come into your feet, watch it go into your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your sacrum, and down your grounding. And as you're watching this imperial earth energy flow from the center of the planet through your leg channels and down your grounding cord, I'd like you to observe this flow like you would a river. You don't have to make the river flow, you just watch. Do the same thing with this neutral imperial earth energy. Just watch it flow. Let it come from the center of the planet through those leg channels and down your grounding without you making it happen. It just does. Watch it. And as you're watching this neutral imperial earth energy flow from the center of the planet through your leg channels and down your grounding cord, I'd like you to put your attention on your body and notice, how does your body feel? What are you noticing physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, as you're allowing this imperial earth energy to flow through you? Continue to watch this imperial earth energy flow from the center of the planet through your leg channels and down your grounding cord. Continue to watch. Let's run some cosmic energy. I'd like you to put your attention on the top of your head. And let's move your attention from the top of your head to the edge of the cosmos. And at the edge of the cosmos, I would like you to allow a neutral stone cosmic energy to flow from the edge of the cosmos into the top of your head. And as you're allowing this neutral stone cosmic energy to flow into your head, watch it flow down those two back channels. Watch it flow down your neck, and your back, your sacrum, and down your grounding. Watch the flow of this neutral stone cosmic energy that's coming from the edge of the cosmos into your head, down your back channels, and down your grounding. Watch this energy flow like you'd be watching water coming out of a faucet. There's no effort on your part, just watch. As you're watching this neutral stone cosmic energy that's coming from the edge of the cosmos into your head, down your back channels, and down your grounding, I'd like you to also pay attention to your body and notice what's going on. What are you experiencing physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as you're allowing this cosmic energy to flow through you? Continue to watch this neutral stone cosmic energy flow from the edge of the cosmos into your head, down your back channels, and down your grounding. Continue to watch. Well, I'm back. Wow. Lot happening tonight. A lot happening in this for this challenge for me. I actually, it makes sense why it took me a little while to record this video. So even though today's day 28, it's not quite day 28 with regards to the day it should be. It took me a couple days to actually record this video. Was still meditating, on my own, but there was a lot of sort of effort in my space to record this. And it's like tonight I was like, nope, got to get this video out. I promised. This is sort of, it's showing people sort of the experience of what it's like to meditate, especially using these audios. And now I know why I was sort of resisting the recording. Once I started meditating, it was tough. It was a tough night. The cool thing is that it was I was present the whole time. I meditated for over an hour, about an hour and 20 minutes. And I could have gone a lot longer, but then I was like going, no, based on what I'm experiencing and what's going on, I'm processing stuff that's going to take a while. And what I mean by that, and I'll explain sort of what I'm talking about. So when I first went into the meditation itself, I felt really, it was hard to define my space. It's like, okay, the first audio actually was leg channels. And the leg channels felt very large. Tonight almost felt like I was the Pillsbury Doughboy, or that, basically that big walking marshmallow. That was how my space felt pretty much most of the night. In fact, I had to really sort of notice what's going on? What am I experiencing? And there was a lot of layers to why I was experiencing this. And so the first off is like, wow, okay, I'm very conscious right now, but I'm having a really hard time defining what it is that I'm experiencing, in the sense of, it's like everything felt mushy, everything, it was really wasn't well defined. And I'm like, I don't know if I've ever really experienced this the way I'm experiencing it right now. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go with it, because that's what we do. It's notice what you notice. And so literally I was just paying attention to my space, and I was just like, okay, this is the first color. I'm just going to notice what I'm experiencing. I'll focus on it. Even though I was focusing on the color, everything was, again, it just felt disjointed. It didn't feel like, it was really there. There was all this stuff happening. I'm like going, you know what? I know it's working. Because again, it's like whatever you're noticing, validate it. But at the same time, the tool works. What's happening is that my space is sludge. The cosmic energy flows, and the thing is, though, it's like I have so much stuff that was going on and still going on within my space, that I just have to validate the fact that the energy is going to flow whether I'm precise in seeing it or not. And that's a part of the meditation, that as you do this over time, you're going to realize, like, okay, there's some days you have that great clarity, and other days things are amorphous, but just know you stay with the practice, because like right now, there's all this stuff happening within my space. And like I said, I'll talk more about it. But the energy flowing itself is going to help me release that stuff. And so that's the reason why we're actually letting the energy, the earth energy flow, the cosmic energy flow, because that's actually helping clear out all that stuff that I'm experiencing. And so, and this is sort of what I was noticing, and this is why my space is the way it is that, so this year has been a really big, challenging year for myself. I had, my father finally passed away. I've had 2 major surgeries. So my body has actually experienced a lot of stuff. And this coming week is a holiday week. It's Thanksgiving coming up. And the family is getting together. In fact, they're all sort of flying to a destination, my brother's place. But it's also the first year that my dad isn't here. And that's what I was experiencing. I was noticing, and I was noticing these layers of emotions in my space. It's like, you know, and I was like, well, what is this? And sometimes I'd feel anger, and then I'd feel this grief, and there was just all these just emotions clombed onto me at the very beginning. And I was like, what's going on here? And then I realized, oh, my emotional body. Okay. I'm still processing all the stuff that I'm processing, you know, with a family member taking their next step and leaving their body. But at the same time, I'm also dealing with, I'm also, you know, connected to my family. I mean, you know, I like my family. And they're all in their grieving processes, whatever that may be. And my mother's in her grieving process, and that may be. And so what I'm noticing for me, and a lot of times, like when we're dealing with emotions, a lot of times we're not even paying attention to the emotions we're experiencing. Hence why 4Q boundaries, in fact, after you finish this 12-week program, we move on to the next 12-week program, which is basically we're taking these tools, but then we apply them to the emotional body. Because what I notice is we're so unconscious to our emotions. A lot of times we're conscious to our immediate, our superficial emotions, but there's layers and depths to how we feel and how we experience that, to be honest, most of us don't pay attention to, because it's a non-logical thing. It's like, you know, when it's like, we're just not as deep as on an emotional level as we could be. And there are some people that are very emotionally intuitive what's happening, but what I'm noticing, and this is what I was noticing tonight, was there was just layers upon layers of different communications that I was having with different people, and on an emotional level. And I was like going, oh, and I'd start thinking about this person and what was happening. I'm like, oh, wow. This is why my space is feeling overwhelmed, is because on an emotional level, there's a lot of dialogue happening that's not happening on a physical level, and that's not happening on a mental level, which is, you know, there's not a dialogue happening. It's called, there's emotional connection that's there. And what I was noticing it was pretty intense. And that's when I started realizing, like, oh, I need to really validate letting this earth energy flow, letting this cosmic energy flow, using this exercise, and really validating letting it flow through my emotional body. And then I also validated it running through my mental body, which will be, you know, after you go through the 12 weeks of the emotional body, then we go 12 weeks through the mental body, we go 12 weeks through the spiritual body. There's a lot of stuff that we have at 4Q boundaries, but I realized, like, I needed to run that, make sure I was really validating having that energy and that flow through those layers of bodies, not just the physical body, but the emotional body and the mental body. And to be honest, I was looking at the spiritual body, I'm like going, spiritual body, I'm pretty present. In fact, I didn't drift. Sometimes I'd notice I would start having a conversation, but that was more of, I was still here listening to the audio, but I would realize it's like, oh, okay, here's that emotional component of what's happening, what I'm experiencing with this person, the specific person. And that's part of the noticing process. You know, sometimes you may fully leave your body and you may have this long dialogue with somebody. Well, that's emotional. You're having a spiritual experience, and you may have an emotional experience. You may have a mental, all at once. And tonight, what I was noticing, I was really present, but the emotional body was the big winner, so to speak, with regards to really needing liquid Drano. Really needed that releasing process, because I didn't realize, like, as we get closer and closer to the holiday, in a couple days I'll be seeing everybody, and at the same time that'll be the first time without Dad on this holiday, and I started realizing, oh wow, this is going to be a whole grieving process for every single family member, because this is actually the first time that we're actually not seeing my dad physically for this holiday. And then I just started seeing all the stuff that my body was actually already processing. And I'm like going, oh, okay, this is a good alert for myself of like, okay, well, even though it's not the holiday yet and I haven't left yet to see everybody, I need to be really conscious of taking care of myself and my space. And even when I'm with my family, I need to realize, like, there's going to be a whole grieving process that our whole family is not going to talk about, is not going to share, but it's still going to be there. And that's one of the things that, as you're doing this work, you're realizing how sensitive you are. And sometimes the people around you, they may be sensitive, but they may not be on the same path as you with regards to wanting to become more aware of what you're experiencing, so that way you can also go, okay, I want to let this go. I want to release. I don't need to hold on to the grief. I don't need to hold on to the sadness, the emotions. I don't need to emotionally connect with everybody else, so that way I experience what they're experiencing. Because that's a lot on a body, and that's a lot on my body, which is one of the tools we'll be teaching, week 7, 8, is neutrality. It's having a glass image, but I'm not going to go into that today because we're not in that tool yet. But there's a reason why neutrality is such a powerful tool, because you're able to see where everybody else is at, but without having to experience it. And so what I was noticing within my own body was like, whoa, not only am I processing my own levels of grief and stuff, I was also noticing I was experiencing that unconscious or that family dynamic before we even get together. So while I'm on this vacation, because it is a vacation, because we're going to go out and have fun and do all these fun things. But at the same time, I have to be aware of really clearing everybody out every night before I go to bed, and really validating having my space around the family, so that way my body is happy with me. Because if I go unconscious to what's going on around me, then my body just naturally absorbs it, and then I turn into what I'm experiencing today, which is sort of a marshmallow man, which is okay. Again, not a problem. It's just a matter of realizing, it's like, okay, do I want to be unconscious to this? Because this stuff does influence you. It influences your decisions. The one thing I noticed for me, it's like, if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I get reactionary. That's a normal trait. That's a normal human thing. We all do that. Some people, but how we react and how we, is unique to our personality. But sometimes I'll notice for me, I'll just get short with people. I don't want to be short, but I will, because I'm overwhelmed. And sometimes it's like, why am I feeling overwhelmed? It has nothing to do with the people around me. They're not doing anything, so to speak. But at the same time, if I'm experiencing all these emotions, or if I'm holding in all these emotions, then guess what? It's the stuff that's within me that's causing me to be overwhelmed. Hence why we ground. why we reclaim our energy from everybody else, why we release everybody's energy down our space, why we notice that inner sanctuary, why we allow the energy to flow through the leg channels and through the back channels is because when we do all these things, guess what? Our body goes, oh, thank God, you're actually paying attention to me. And then guess what? When you're starting to develop and refine your emotional body is going to go, oh, thank God, you're paying attention to me. And your mental body is going to say, oh, thank God, you're paying attention to me. And your spiritual body will say the same thing. So guess what? That's why we're going to be focusing on those other bodies after this 12-week series is over, because those bodies are real. They impact us. This is all about defining yourself. It's realizing that you can be unconscious or you can be conscious. Your choice. I just think being more conscious to what you're experiencing gives you more empowerment to make decisions for yourself. And yeah, so anyway, so like I said, tonight there was a lot going on. And by the way, I didn't clear all it out. I mean, I'm still, when I finished, I was like, well, I think I'm done meditating for the night, knowing full well that I am not done with processing everything. And I'm fine with that because I realized like, oh, this is a lot of stuff and it's not going to release all tonight. And so, I have to give myself permission to be okay with being where I'm at, which is called, this is going to be, I'll be processing what I'm experiencing over the next week or two. But tonight, but the last day or two, I've been really noticing this buildup, and I was sort of paying attention to it, but not really. And then tonight when I said, okay, I need to record this video, it brought everything to the forefront, because I'm like, oh, I have to actually talk to you. I have to talk to somebody. I have to talk to people. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, what's really going on here? And that's when I was like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that are happening. And it's really good that I'm paying attention to it, because now it's giving me permission to really widen that grounding cord and use all these tools to help release, so that way I don't become this walking blob. Anyways, have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, whenever you're seeing this video. And tomorrow, guess what, is a new week. So we're going to be adding the front channels and the arm channels to our the energy flow, just that running energy. So, and then we're also going to be defining our aura. So, that's a great week. That's a great tool for this upcoming holiday. So I must have timed it just right. Anyways, take care. I'll talk to you tomorrow.